This week, we're going 100% Canadian with Captain Canuck. So grab your maple syrup and your hockey pucks because you're listening to a kind of garbage First and Cameo podcast.
It's a kind of...
Welcome, everyone, to First and Cameo. Today, we're talking about the most famous Canadian superhero for deep-cut comic fans, Captain Canuck. I'm Adam Bishop, and I'm joined by, as always,
Dan Collins.
Dan, it's Canada time.
Canada time. We should do a whole episode just about bad Canadian comics.
Ooh, there's so many. Actually, but there's lots of good ones.
There's so many. There's a few.
So Captain Canuck was your choice.
Yes, it was.
I am familiar with Captain Canuck. I've never read one of his comic books. Tell me about Captain Canuck.
Wait, you haven't read a comic book even in preparation for this show?
No. I think
even when I offered you, I was like, hey, I can give you like a compendium with all the issues. I have digital copies that I've legally purchased. I have all of this material if you want to check any of it out for the show. And you're like, I'm good.
I do have a trade paperback that Martin gave to me. I can't remember what it is. I can see it on the shelf, but I can't read the spine from here. But I got all of my knowledge from the interwebs forced into my brain about Captain Canuck.
I thought you were going to say the trade. I can't remember where the trade, which table the trade paperback is helping to keep level. Captain Canuck. He's a captain and he's a Canuck. He's a Canadian character created by Richard Cumley.
When were you first exposed to Captain Canuck?
I was first exposed to Captain Canuck in Marty's car. We were driving down Chemong Street by Walmart, talking about we were going to go on one of the road trips that would probably, this might have even been the road trip that inspired the Hey Kids Comics radio show. But we were going on a road trip with a couple guys, and Marty was just talking about Captain Canuck, and he started telling me like about the history of Captain Canuck and like the publishing history and stuff. And it was just has a very sad and tragic publishing history that I'm sure we'll get into a little bit, but he was just telling me about that. And I was like, that's cool. I'll check it out. And so I started collecting the comics and didn't read them for a little bit. And then eventually read them and became probably Peterborough's second biggest Captain Canuck fan.
That's right, because Martin is the number one, and he is the curator of, I can't remember what the website is, but he has the...
He's going to murder us.
He is. Like, you guys didn't put that in the fucking notes. Nope.
Marty B's Captain Canuck page is what it comes up with on the interwebs. Now, if you bear with me for 37 minutes while my webpage loads, I can tell you that it's Marty's unofficial yet completely definitive Captain Canuck comicography, which is CaptainCanuck.net.
CaptainCanuck.net. It was on the tip of my tongue.
So easy, and yet we were so far off.
It's true. That is the website that when you look up certain items online about Captain Canuck, that's the first result. And Martin should be proud to know that he is the number one source for Captain Canuck.
And that's like, that is, here's the thing. Maybe Marty's a nerd. Maybe I'm a nerd for knowing as much about Captain Canuck as I do. But on the other hand, like, to be the sort of one of the definitive sources of information on your favorite character, like, isn't that amazing? Wouldn't you love if you had a website that was just about Sugarman and people who are looking up Sugarman would come to your website?
That's like my wet dream.
I hope it's wet because you're crying.
No, it's wet from the Sugarman's tongue. But enough about Sugarman. That was last week. Nobody cared about him. Let's talk about Captain Canuck.
Nobody.
Captain
Canuck. Should we get into it?
Okay. So my first slab is Captain Canuck, issue number 1, dated July 1975, publisher Comley Comics. The key notes for this issue is first appearance of Captain Canuck and Blue Fox with a flag cover. Art comments are Richard Comley's story and art.
Sure. So can we, before we get into the census and everything, let's talk about the notes. First appearance of Captain Canuck and Blue Fox. So did you know that for many years, this slab didn't have first appearance of Captain Canuck as a note? It just said first appearance of Blue Fox.
Now, my question to that was Captain Canuck previewed or displayed in something before this came out?
As a discerning CGC fan, you would think so, wouldn't you? You'd be like, well, if he isn't listed as the first appearance of Captain Canuck on this issue, then he must have appeared beforehand. But he did not. The only previous appearance to my knowledge was on a mock cover that was never widely released. It's not a comic book. It was just a kind of cover that Richard was going to go with that may have been released, but he doesn't have any earlier appearance. So the CGC just decided that Captain Canuck wasn't worth putting on.
But they were like, Blue Fox, there's a person that has a first appearance.
Blue Fox, damn, that minor villain who will never appear again definitely needs to have his first appearance noted. Yes, and I have two slabs that both say first appearance of Blue Fox, and neither of them have a Captain Canuck note, which is a real shame. Also, I have two slabs of this comic, which is hilarious.
What grades are both of those?
Both of them are 9.8s.
Ooh.
I picked one up many years ago, and it was paid like 200 and some bucks for it from my first one. And then because I'm a nerd, I watch like every Captain Canuck listing that comes up on eBay. And I think I saw one that came up for like $100. And I was like, you know what? I paid a lot for the first one, but if I buy a second one together, they average down so that I didn't pay quite so much. And this way, I have one to keep forever and one that I can sell if Captain Canuck ever becomes super popular. And this goes up in value. Bad news. This is the one comic I have that has not gone up in value.
With having two of them at the exact same grade, have you looked at them side by side and like compared all the corners, the creases, the staples, everything? And have you decided if one was actually better condition than the other?
I 100% have never looked at them.
Oh, you never looked at them like that? I am shocked.
No. I just went like, yep, that's a 9.8 and put it in a box.
You didn't get out your monocle and just be like,
I didn't get out my monocle and do my best Mr. Gold impression. You would know that he wears a monocle if you read any of the source material I tried to provide you.
Hey, now, no research shaming me.
No, definitely no research shaming, because after last week's episode with Sugarman, where I was unable to find any information.
Well, I think you found all of it.
I found all of the information. It was none. So should we dive into the census here? Because the census is actually quite incredible.
Yeah.
The census 10.0, there is one. Does that blow your mind?
That's insane for a 1975 comic. Now, that has something special to do with that 10, if I remember correctly, right? Isn't that the highest rated 10.0 of a year?
As far as I know, this is the oldest issue ever to be graded at a 10.0.
That's what it is. So it is the oldest comic at a 10. And do we know who has that? Or I don't think we do we?
We don't know who has it. I know that it has been up for his sale many times and for many years. I never had it. I don't think I've ever been privy to this person's name, but I've heard the stories about them trying to get Marty or other Canuck fans to buy this at a ridiculous amount of money. I remember having a conversation with Marty one time about this and saying, like, you know, even though as the oldest 10.0 on the CGC registry, like this has that, it has more value as that than it does as a Captain Canuck comic book.
When that person's been trying to sell it, do they use that, like that little side note, as a reason why they want more? Or are they just saying because it's the only 10.0 Captain Canuck?
You would have to ask somebody who's been offered this comic. I have not been offered this comic, so I don't know for sure.
Mm.
I think he's this person, whoever it was just trying to sell to Canuck fans. You know, Canuck fans are we're a small group. Like realistically, we're probably just a few more than Sugarman fans. So
Well, I'm sure that one day Richard will get that money that he wants for his 10.0. I'm just joking. It's probably not him selling it.
no, it's definitely not him selling it. I don't know who it is. So let's continue on with the census because there is actually a 9.9 as well, which is incredible.
Is that the oldest 9.9?
I don't know. I
Okay.
do not know, but it would be pretty freaking amazing if they had the top two for both of those. And then there's 118 9.8s. Two of those are SSs. And of those 118, as I mentioned, I have two. So there's 116, not counting my two. And then there's a 31 9.6s.
And the total amount,
226 total slabs.
yeah.
Including a couple of doozies. I don't know if you noticed because you were looking at this, but there's two 5.5s on the census.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh my God. Why? When a 9.8 is the majority of them that have been slabbed, and you have one that looks like, you look at it and you're like, this is about halfway of being good. It's like, I'll send it in.
So on those two 5.5s, I don't have my notes I have my notes in front of me, but I didn't make a note. But I don't think either of them were CGC SSs, meaning that they're not even signed copies that somebody decided to get slabbed. These are just regular old copies. Somebody was like, I'm going to go get my Captain Canuck slabbed. And they came back at an amazing 5.5.
Oh, those people must have been so pissed or happy, being like, was that the lowest grade? I only have 9 up in front of me right now on my spreadsheet.
Yeah, that was the lowest grade.
Okay, well, there's something to be proud of.
I mean, for a 45-year-old comic, a 5.5 isn't that bad. And if this was like a key comic for a 5.5, you would still be like, yes, this is amazing.
That's true.
Right? Unfortunately, it's not.
Nope. So I do have there were some 9.8s on eBay for me to grab some prices, but I found one that's a 9.6 and it's $120, or I guess $119 plus $18.76 shipping. This one does have first appearance of Captain Canuck on the CGC note itself, and that's kind of why I picked that one, because I saw one that was a newer grade that had the newer note.
Yeah. What about the should I tell you the plot of this comic book?
Oh yeah, tell me the story, since I'm assuming that he is, well, no, I read about him and he's a soldier. But go ahead.
In the far future of 1993, Canada is a world superpower, and
Nope.
we are under attack by the Russians, and only our top agent, Captain Canuck, can save the world. So he's basically like a superhero spy agent kind of guy for these first few issues. Should we move on to my second pick?
Let's move on. Tell me, maybe it'll be the same as mine. Probably not.
My second pick is Captain Canuck issue 4 from July/August 1979.
Okay.
Is this different from yours?
That is different from mine, yes.
Now, the reason that I picked this one, and you would probably have to be a Captain Canuck fan in order to have picked this one. I'll get into that in just a sec after we go through the notes, which are... Actually, no, the notes are brilliant. But first, Richard Cumley story and art, George Freeman and Jean-Claude Saint-Aubin art, George Freeman cover. The actual notes, first appearance of Tom Evans and Mr. Gold, origin of Catman. So, which part were you laughing at?
Just the Catman name, because I know Catman, like, that's a superhero from some other comic book as well in the US, I think, and he was lame. So just remind me of lame Catman.
So, first appearance of Tom Evans. Do you know who Tom Evans is?
I have no idea, no. Is that a Canadian person?
No, Tom Evans is Captain Canuck.
Oh, this is
This
true.
is this
Yep.
is his real name, Tom Evans. So this note, this issue is where it's first revealed that Tom Evans is the person who is Captain Canuck. But like this note, first appearance of Tom Evans, I'm so confused because are you saying that somebody else was Captain Canuck for the last 3 issues, and now because he's taken his mask off, we suddenly have this is Tom Evans?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny one. And have you seen any notes like that on other slabs?
Um, just the reverse when it was like a person taking up a new persona. Not like first appearance of Logan. Like I've never seen something like that.
Yeah, because what they would do, like, wouldn't they have like a note, like name revealed as Tom Evans or something like that? Captain Canuck revealed to be Tom Evans, like it's something like that, because it would be like Wolverine's real name explained or something, not just like first appearance.
It would
It's
be
so bizarre.
it should say like the reveal of Captain Canuck's secret identity. Something like that, not the first appearance of this character.
Yeah, because it absolutely isn't the first appearance of the character, which just makes this very, very like just mind-boggling and confusing. So on to the census. 9.8, there are 4, and 9.6, there are 7, and that is it for the census. Do you want to hear the plot notes for this one?
Yes.
And why this is actually a very important comic in the Captain Canuck fandom, because this issue is where the series shifts in tone, going from like this like missile crisis style, like Cold War story into a James Bond-esque story about a supervillain with a secret base in South America who has like civilization that like he has enslaved to do labor for him. And it's just completely night and day from the previous issues. And so this to me is where Captain Canuck really started to become the character that he would later be.
Interesting. Could you start off on issue number 4 and not miss anything?
Hard to say. It's hard to say. I don't know. I would have to read issue 4 by itself. But having already known everything about the character, for me, I would be like, oh, I don't need to know anything because I know everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you, as a like rookie Canuck reader, could just pick it up and go from there. I'm sure you probably could with minimal questions, but the comics cost like $1 each. You can just pick up issues 1 to 3 and read them beforehand. Come on.
I've seen them in the dollar bins, and I'm always like, does anybody need this? People are like, no. And I'm like, okay. They're not in French. Nobody needs these.
I have 7 copies already. Yes, exactly.
My next one is it's my last slab that I could find. I do have more issues that I want to talk about, but nobody graded them yet, which is bastards. Like these are Captain Canuck keys, in my opinion.
Wait, are you talking to Marty when you're yelling out bastards?
I'm talking to every single Captain Canuck fan out there who has ever sent a comic to be graded. Who's ever sent
You're
a comic
talking
to be
me?
graded? Have you sent one out?
Oh,
There we
no,
go.
I just buy them from eBay.
So my second comic is Captain Canuck, issue number 5 from, I guess this is September 1979, published by Comley Comics. Key comments are origin of Captain Canuck's powers, first appearance of Earth Patrol and Chaos Corps. The art notes are Richard Comley's story, cover, and art. Dan, tell me about the census.
For the census at 9.8, we've got 2, and at 9.6, we've got 2.
So this was a trap because I know that Dan picked this one, or else he wouldn't know the census for it right now. But yes, there were 7 total.
Yes.
I found one on eBay, a 9.0. There are 2 of those available, so 50% of them are up online, and it was $55.64 with $26.88 shipping. So yeah, they're up there, and this is the last one I found.
Now, of the 2 9.6s on the census, I own one of those.
Oh, so you have 50% of a number? Good. I'm going to clap. Good for you.
That's 50% of the 9.6s.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Marty has 50% of the 9.8s.
Yeah. But I don't know. Was this whole series slabbed? I think some of these. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. That's good to know.
Marty has a copy of every issue I believe. Some are not in the greatest condition, but I believe that he has almost all of them as 9.8s now.
That's awesome. So tell me, what is the origin of his powers? Since I have no idea.
The origin of his powers. So in this issue, they have a 2-page flashback scene showing how Tom Evans was out camping as a scout leader and his troop was kidnapped by aliens. He was blasted with a ray gun, and then he woke up like the next morning and all the kids were back and fine, and he was fine, except he had like super strength and maybe some other powers, I'm not sure, but definitely super strength.
Interesting.
So you really only found two slabs to talk about.
When I did my research, I looked up the issues that I felt were ones I wanted to talk about. And with that said, only 2 of them did have submitted slabs. Now, you might notice I haven't talked about PGX, CBCA, and that's because everything is just CGC right now. I didn't notice any of the other grading companies for any of these titles I looked up.
Yeah, they're not. Captain Canuck isn't big enough for most people to care about getting it PGX graded.
Yeah. And I don't see that in a mean way. You're hitting like, if you can't afford, I guess, to send it to CGC, you send it to PGX. I don't know why you'd want to. That's not slander. I'm not saying PGX is bad. I'm just saying there might be alternative graders that you might want to consider as well.
Many of them.
So what's the next one on your list?
That was my next one. Yeah, that was my third. Of course, knowing the character inside, I know which issues to look for without even looking them up. So my next issue was Captain Canuck Reborn #0, or as the CGC likes to call it, Captain Canuck Prelude 0, even though they're wrong.
Okay, so that is my next one as well. You have better notes than I do because I didn't know that it was named the wrong thing under there.
Yes, Semple Comics, September 1993, Richard Cumley story, cover, and art. And yes, it's listed as Prelude #0, but it's actually, in fact, Captain Canuck Reborn #0.
My question for this is that when I was on the CGC website in their census, there is a slab for issue 1 and 3, not for 2 and then not for 0 from what I saw, but you have found a 0 slab. So tell me about it, because I wrote down my own notes for what should be on it. I'm curious to know if it's the same thing that I wrote.
I would say this is the first appearance of the second Captain Canuck, Darren Oak.
Yep.
As well as first appearance of Nathan Oak, his brother, who is a villainous bad guy.
Okay.
So basically that.
Yeah, so I did have first appearance of Darren Oak as Captain Canuck.
Yes. You caught me slightly off guard, and I shouldn't have been caught off guard, but I should just open my Captain Canuck series notes Excel sheet that I have where I've been going through each issue of Captain Canuck and logging things like what the publishing date was, what the cover date is, the price, the print run if I can find it, whether it's direct or newsstand, who the publisher was, what the writing credits actually are. And so for issue 0, the CGC is wrong because the credits should actually, well, maybe not. Richard Cumley, story, art, and letters. His son Corey Cumley did the colors. I don't know if they don't normally necessarily put the color person on there, do they?
Not that I've ever seen. No, for whatever reason they don't, I guess, consider them a major contributor.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
But the notes I have in my personal collection for this one: first appearance of Darren Oak. Darren Oak becomes Captain Canuck. First appearance of Nathan Oak, Daniel Blackbird, David Waller, and Manuel Ferreira, who are all characters that go on to do stuff later on in the series.
Well, I learned something.
In my opinion, this is not a great comic book. Sorry. Should we talk about the census? You probably don't have any notes for the census.
I have nothing, no.
So the only one, there's 3 copies on the census, all 9.8s, 2 regulars and 1 CGC SS. I own one of the 9.8s. Marty owns the other, and somebody else owns the signed copy. But I saw it on eBay a few years ago, but it was like, I think they wanted like $200 or something for it, and I just didn't want to pay that because this cover is a nice like aquamarine, blue green, greeny color, and then when you have the yellow CGC label with the green color, it looks horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Nobody wants that in their CGC collection then.
I wish I had it though, because then I might have be able to beat Marty
Oh,
for the census, because he has the top rated set for Reborn with 2 comics and I just have 1.
okay.
What's your next comic that you had picked?
My next one, which is my second last one, is Captain Canuck Unholy War #1.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has no CGC slabs for it, unfortunately. And then these are my notes that I've written down, which is Captain Canuck Unholy War, issue #1, issue date and year 2004. I don't have a month for that for some reason. I'm sure you do. It is published by Comedy Comics. First appearance of David Semple?
David Semple?
Semple, yes, as Captain Canuck,
Yes.
aka West Coast Captain Canuck. Written by,
Yes. Riel and Drew Laglois.
edited by Richard Comley.
Yes. This is one of my favorite Captain Canuck storylines. And it's just off the wall. It's, just some regular guy, David Semple, who's an RCMP officer who decides he can make a bigger difference as Captain Canuck. And so he changes into the costume and tries to stop Mr. Gold, who is a different guy in this one. His name is Jack Cormier in this one, instead of being like George Goldman. He's just some other guy. And I really like David Semple. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorite Captain Canucks. Pretty awesome for me that I actually get to write this character.
Now, is he your favorite? Not only because you get to write him, but because is he the only Captain Canuck that has orange hair as well?
So far, yes.
So he is, I'm going to call him Ginger Canuck for now on.
The Ginger Canuck, yeah.
And that's fine because both of us have orange hair. And yes, he is now Ginger Canuck. I kind of want to read this one.
He's the Ginger Canuck.
So does this take place in good old Vancouver?
It does. I think, I'm not 100% sure if it takes place like just in Vancouver, but it does take place in BC, and it's set in the real world. The same with Reborn. Reborn was Captain Canuck set in like the current world, with trying to be like a little grittier and a little less sci-fi fantasy for both of them. And this one's hilarious because it starts off as like a really like grounded comic book, and then by the like in the 4th issue, there's like time travel and like spaceships and stuff, which is I love.
So this issue, for whatever reason, the only one I could find on eBay, or the cheapest, was $10 with $20 shipping. If you're a floppy collector, grab that. If you're a trade paperback collector, I think it's being re-released by Lev Gleason. I can't remember what month it was, but yeah, it's on the Amazons. You can pre-order it right now.
It's supposed to be released shortly, sometime within the next couple of months. And if you pick up the new Lev Gleason reprint of it, you will actually get to read an introduction to the character by myself. Yeah.
Mr. Published Dan Collins here. Look him up online for the different books that he's done. I will say that there is one book that he has not done. I'm not going to mention what the book is called, but yeah, Dan does not write adult books. He writes Captain Canuck and Canuck Adventures.
I was going to say, you might as well just get into it since you brought it up. Like, let's just put it out there.
Yeah, so I can't remember what I was doing, but I found an adult comic book written by a Dan Collins, the exact same spelling of the name of Captain Hardon. His crotch is very mighty from that cover.
Yes. I think you told me that you're like looking me up to see if I was the most famous Dan Collins who writes comic books. And I am not, because Captain Hardon is more famous than the comic books I've written.
Oh, Captain Hardon.
So far.
He's drawn in the Ripping Friends or the Ren and Stimpy like muscular superhero style as well, which it looks okay. I'm not going to buy it myself, but I should and get it signed.
Didn't they call it like, didn't it say like a Kirby-esque?
Yeah, it looked
like Jack Kirby.
I feel it looks like Kirby and like Powdered French Toast Crunch Man, whatever the hell the superhero's name. They had that like those two styles mixed into one almost, but I'm probably wrong. It was probably just all Kirby.
I don't know, but I'm so disappointed that I didn't like publish under like Dan K. Collins or something like that. And now there's a chance every time I talk to somebody about my comics, I'm like, just so you know, if you Google Dan Collins comic book writer, you may find an adult comic that is not written by me. I only write wholesome good comics. And then most of them go like, oh wait, there's a cooler Dan Collins that writes comics. Bye.
I'm here for the dicks.
Here for the hard-ons.
All right, so that was Unholy War #1. Was that on your list as well, or was that your
It
list?
wasn't on my list because I knew there was no slabs of it, so I didn't put it on my list.
Okay, we went a different route this time.
We went a different route, yes, because, and again, probably though, because I know so much more about the character and actually like what's been slabbed and stuff, that I just skipped over Unholy War and David Semple because I knew that none had been slabbed, because I would own them if they had been.
All right, so tell me about your next one, and then I'll go with my last one.
Chapter House relaunch. So this is Captain Canuck issue 0 from Chapter House, May 2015. Kalman Andrzejowski. Story and art. No notes.
No, shame.
Shame.
So I guess my question about that is that which Captain Canuck is this?
So this is a complete reboot. This is Tom Evans again, but a completely different storyline, completely redone from the ground up. Nothing that happened previously over the past 30 years exists now. So a complete hard reboot.
Throw the history in the garbage. We got a new book for you.
Well, I mean, Captain Canuck's history, as we've talked about way back at the beginning of the show, you know, it has a pretty rough history, because Richard released the first 3 issues, but then he ran out of money and had to stop publishing for 3 or 4 years. He spent those years trying to build up some investors and stuff, and then finally he got issue 4 released and managed to release issue 4 through to issue 14 before he ran out of money again and had to stop publishing. Then 10 years later, he starts up again trying to get Reborn done. Reborn was supposed to be an ongoing series that actually only released 3 issues, issues 0, 1, and 2 at the time. And then issue 3 is actually just a collection of newspaper strips that were published in various Canadian newspapers. And it doesn't even, these newspaper strips were an ongoing story, and they don't even connect to what we just read in issues 0, 1, and 2. Like, these are just random strips that are still a story, but have nothing to do with the previous story other than it's the same characters. Then fast forward another 10 years, it's Unholy War comes out, and this is supposed to be a 3 issue, and issues 1, 2, and 3 were released, but 3 years later, issue 4 comes out to like really wrap the whole story up. And finally in like 2016, 2017, Captain Canuck got, maybe even 2018, Captain Canuck had enough issues out through Chapter House to beat the original run. So we finally took us 40 years to get past issue 14. I was crying that entire time. So this was a huge deal. Captain Canuck, you know, he might be a bit of a niche character for sure, but yeah, Chapter House relaunching this was a huge deal. And you know, he's been in publication for the past 6 years. Off and on, there's been a few delays with Chapter House and the publishing and stuff, but I mean, the character is still out there, still being published, so it's good times. Should we talk about the census?
Oh, yes.
9.8, that's a CGC SS. A 9.2, that's a CGC SS as well. And those are the only 2 on the census.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that those 2 were at the same convention.
Likely. Now, this was a free comic book day issue, actually. So it could have been anybody.
Yeah, that's wherever CGC was for that May, that Saturday on May, whatever year it came out. That's interesting.
Also interesting is, guess who has the top CGC registered set for the Chapter House Captain Canuck series?
Is it Dan Collins?
It's Dan Collins.
Oh.
But is it this Dan Collins or Captain Hard-On Dan Collins?
Oh God, I hope it's not Captain Hard-On.
No, it's me. Yes, I have the top rated CGC set on the register. So It's pretty sweet. I've had it 3 or
Nice.
4 years in a row.
Congratulations. Do you get a certificate or something you get to print out?
I have 2 or 3 certificates for this one, yes, but I missed one. There was one year where like either I lost them or they didn't send them. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Stupid CGC. How dare they? But yes, pretty cool. Okay, so you have one more, you said?
Yes, which you did just touch upon it a little bit. My fifth one was Captain Canuck Unholy War #4 for the reasons that this comic was published by Hot Hail Comics and not Comly Comics, and it was also issue 4 of 3, technically, even though it didn't say it on the cover. Because issue 1 to 3 of Unholy War says like issue 1 of a 3-part series, and then issue 4, like you
Yeah.
said, it was a wrap up, and I believe it was still edited by Richard Comley, but yeah, he didn't publish it. Which is there a story behind that? They must have got permission as well.
I don't know what the story is behind that exactly. I've never really heard anything about the reasoning behind this adding this 4th issue. I do love the cover to issue 4, which is Captain Canuck on the floor. It's like black and pink, and he's on the floor, and there's a guy standing over him with a chainsaw, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
It's very badass, and I'm so mad, Adam. I'm so mad. 2 or 3 years ago, I had this cover art was up on eBay for like $200, and I just didn't have the money, and I wanted to buy it so bad. Didn't have the money, and then now, of course, it's gone, and it's been gone for a while.
That sucks. As people probably, I assume people know, like my first piece of art that I bought was a page from Waterworld, but that was the actual original cover for this issue.
Yes, the actual original cover was up for sale.
Damn.
I think there was I'm pretty sure the cover for issue 1, 3, and 4. No, issue 2 and 4 at some point. It's very pricey because cover art, like $200 or $300 for cover art for a comic book that's been published is very cheap realistically, because you would never find Marvel cover art or DC cover art at that price.
No,
But
for sure.
just a little bit too expensive for me. But yeah, issue 4 is where this one goes completely off the rails. And if I may be allowed to spoil just a little bit this comic book series, Captain Canuck, Tom Evans shows up in one of the previous issues, the original Tom Evans, and then he shows up just in this one to be like, hey, I made a spaceship and I'm going back to my own time, and then he disappears. So it's really kind of like weird and bizarre. Yeah, and he's got a spaceship time machine or something.
Okay.
And there's so many great, the last 2 pages of this, like the last 3 pages, let's just say the last few pages. Captain Canuck, Tom Evans gives David Semple a key card for a storage facility and says, here, like, you'll need this in the future. And then David Semple goes to the storage facility, and it hasn't even been built yet. So obviously Captain Canuck went into the future, put something in there, came back with a key card and gave it to David Semple. But then the story never continues, and we never get to know like what was going to happen. And that's a dirty, rotten shame.
So what is the next book your final one? Or I think, is it your final one?
Yes, this is my final. Nope, this is the last one.
Can I guess what it is?
Go ahead, try and guess.
I'm gonna guess that it's Captain Canuck 2014 Summer Special.
Wrong.
Oh, okay. What is it then?
Do you want to talk about your Captain Canuck 2014 Summer Special first?
Sure. The only thing I know is that it's a different Captain Canuck, but for some reason I don't have his name down. Who is this Captain Canuck?
It's not a different Captain Canuck, I don't think.
Well, I have written down that there are 4 different Captain Canucks. So we had I almost said Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
So we had Tom
greatest
Evans.
Of all time.
Sure, we had Tom Evans, Darren Oak,
David Semple.
So there is a 4th one, correct?
Tom Evans again.
Is he Summer Special Captain Canuck?
Yeah, like I don't know. As far as I know, I sit here and say I've never actually read the Summer Special as the Summer Special. I've only read like what's been reprinted in various trade paperbacks, etc.
Okay.
So I don't know, but yeah, like as far as I know, it's Tom Evans. Now, Is this the story? I think this is there's a story in there where he's having a dream. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Maybe it's just
I think there's
from my light
some sort of
research.
weird dream sequence from your light research. And meanwhile, you have me, the guy that claimed to be the second biggest Captain Canuck fan in Peterborough, who's like, I haven't actually read that issue.
Well, we'll ask Marty. He might know.
Geez.
We'll ask him to name all 4 Captain Canucks, and he'll be like, 4? There's not 4. There's 3.
Well, I know. So there is 4.
Oh,
there is another Captain Canuck, but this one was never published.
okay.
Wah, wah, wah. There's a in the later 2000s, there was a Cap series that was supposed to be published by a company called Smash Comics. Marty, and I think that there was an actual like solicit that was put into the previews, but that it was never actually made. But yes, there's, as far as actual Captain Canucks that have been published, there's only Tom Evans, Darren Oak, David Semple, Tom Evans again, Darren Oak again, David Semple again.
So 6, but 3.
3 times 2, which brings us to my last comic, which is the Captain Canuck Free Comic Book Day issue 2019, released by Chapter House Comics, May 29. And this one is the introduction of the Chapter House version of Darren Oak as Captain Canuck. Now, this Free Comic Book Day issue, there's too many people listed on the issue to name them all, as far as like the artists and writers. So I'm just going to name one writer that's listed on the CGC slab, and that is Dan Collins.
Oh,
that's right. I am on a CGC slab.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yes, sir. Now I do believe, because there's so many people, it might just say Collins, like written by Collins, Morris, etc., other people as well. Many great creators. But yes, this is, I contributed 2 pages of story to this issue that were as a part of like a preview in the back that were showcasing some upcoming projects. And so my name is on a CGC slab, and I think that is just the coolest thing.
That is.
And so the census for this one, the regular cover has 1 CGC SS 9.8. There's an Andrew Thomas variant that has 1 CGC SS 9.8, and apparently another variant cover that has 1 CGC SS 9.8. And I own none of those 3 slabs, but I would love one. So if you're listening out there and you own one of those slabs and you want to give one of the writers a great deal, feel free to contact this show.
Well, you can email the podcast at akindofgarbage@gmail.com, or you can always message Dan wherever Dan would like you to.
Dan the Writing Man at gmail.com.
Oh, there we go. Email Dan if you have one of these slabs and let him know how cheap he can get it for.
Not how expensive, how cheap. Remember, I'm a writer. I don't have any money. Yeah, so I picked that one just because I wanted to feel cool talking about it.
That's a cool thing that you can even tell comic book collectors, like, I've written books, and once you get a copy of it slabbed, it's like, and I have a slab version that has my name on it. That might be a weird conversation to have, but
hello there. I know you don't know me, but you know Captain Canuck. Well, I wrote a page, and here you go. This is a slab with my name on it. That's everything that I have to talk about my favorite character of all time.
On our next episode of First in Cameo, which will come eventually, we are going to be talking about the adopted daughter of Cable, which is Hope Summers.
Okay.
With that, thank you for listening. Be sure to check out akindofgarbage.com. You can email us, again, like I've said earlier, akindofgarbage@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, both at akindofgarbage, as well as Facebook if you search up A Kind of Garbage Pod. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/akindofgarbage for our every other week episode where we talk about movies, and eventually Dan and I will talk about comic books on there. One day, Dan, one day. Finally, you can find myself on Twitter at PrestoAdam, and with Dan, Martin, Chris, and Chris on the Hey Kids Comics radio show Friday nights at 8 p.m. on Trent Radio, not 92.7 CFFF FM. Dan?
You know what? Why don't I just throw my Twitter handle out there? I don't tweet, but maybe if you tweet at me, I'll get back on Twitter. It's at Dan the Writing Man. Oh, you know that I have a music discovery podcast that I haven't updated for 3 months, which is Gather Round the Listening Post. gather round, no A, just gather round the listening post, which you can find on Spotify.
Awesome. With that, I'm Adam Bishop.
And I'm Dan Collins, not Captain Hard-On's writer, just the regular Dan Collins.
And keep on listening because we're having Peterborough's #1 Captain Canuck fan, Martin Bruda, on right after the show. Welcome to the after show, everybody. We have the world famous Captain Canuck, Peterborough #1 fan with us, Martin Bruda. Martin, how are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to... Oh, wait, wrong podcast. How's everybody doing today?
Oh, good.
Good.
Marty, this is the second time you've joined a kind of garbage. Are you a garbage tier? Wait. I don't know.
I subscribe to the podcast channel. Yes, I do.
Nice. So you get to hear all of our shitty speak about garbage things, but not Captain Canuck. He's not garbage.
Well,
is he a piece? He's a piece of, I want to say Americana. What's the Canadian version?
Canadiana.
The same thing, but Canada instead of America, Adam.
Okay. I thought of Dimitri Martin with his banana jokes of how many nas do I put down when I'm writing. It's like bana. Nope. Keep on going. Banana. Damn it. Too many. So I was thinking like Canadiana. Yeah. I couldn't do it. It wouldn't process in my mind properly. All right, Martin, I have the first question about Captain Canuck.
Now, before you get started.
Yeah.
Just kindly remember that I am ancient, old, and have probably forgotten more about Captain Canuck than I knew in the first place, and usually have to look stuff up when people ask these days.
Are you going to go to captaincanuck.net for that information?
We do have captaincanuck.net up, Marty's unofficial yet completely definitive Captain Canuck comicography that is woefully out of date.
It's not out of date, right? It's just you stopped adding.
Well, I'm missing, if you look in the categories, anything with an asterisk is incomplete. So I don't have all of season 1 and 2 in there from Chapter House. I don't have all the magazine and articles. I don't have the specials, but all that stuff's on the old 2018 website that you can still reference from the menu. And everything else is there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So my question is, how many Captain Canucks are there, not including I want to say rebirths, but are there 3 or 4 rebirth?
In official canon, there's 3.
Okay. Who is Captain Canuck from the summer special 2014?
That is Tom.
Okay. On Wikipedia, when I was doing my research, the very little bit of research that I did, there were credits for 4 different Captain Canucks. It was like Captain Canuck 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was 4, but I couldn't figure out who the new character was.
Well, what they're doing is they're counting the Chapter House sort of reboot as separate Canucks.
Oh,
so there's 2 Tom Evanses, there's 2 Darren Oaks, there's 2 David Semples. But I mean, do you want to count it that way? I don't know. It doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
But to me personally, it's there's 3 guys: Tom Evans, Darren Oak, and David Semple.
All right. And the coolest Captain Canuck is Dan's favorite one, which I'm going to call him Canadian Guy Raidner. What's his name? The Green Lantern?
Guy Gardner.
You're not even close. You're not even close.
He looks like Guy Gardner. He has the ginger hair. Not. He's a slender man.
Guy Gardner's not a slender man. And Marty, who's your favorite Captain Canuck?
I have to go with the original, Tom Evans.
Yeah.
It's like James Bond. You always remember your first. And just like it's Sean Connery is my #1 guy, Tom Evans is my #1 Canuck.
And that would be Tom Evans from the classic series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did pull up the Wikipedia page here just to take a quick peek, and they are saying, in Wiki anyways, 1 and 4 are Tom Evans, 3 is Darren Oak, and 2 is Darren Oak, and 3 is David Semple. But I feel like this hasn't been updated. And again, I wouldn't call Tom Evans 1 and 4. It's Tom. It's the same guy. So
yeah.
Rebooted omniverse, multiverse
I guess I would have went to CaptainCanuck.net, but it's not up to date.
You're an asshole, Adam.
I'm sorry. Martin, you got some work to do.
Mother trucker.
So Martin, when did you first find out about Captain Canuck? What's your history?
Okay, so I found Captain Canuck would have to be, and I've been racking my brain trying to remember. I'm not sure whether I found my first copy at Sandy's bookstore in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, downtown on Charlotte Street. Was a used bookstore that was infamous, or a few years later at Dixon's bookstore, which was also a used comic book / paperback bookstore that had back issues and stuff. But at one of the two, and all of a sudden it's like Captain Canuck, Canada, Maple Leaf, blah, Captain America, eat your heart out. I need to know more about this person.
When we were talking about Mr. Canuck, we were talking about obviously the slabs with him, and I'm trying to remember which one that Dan wasn't sure if you had the other, I'm going to say sister too, because there's a few issues that are only 2 copies or slabbed of it. And I think Dan, you said you had one of them, right?
Wait, I don't even replay the show. I don't remember what I talked about.
Okay, so
which Marty, you have what are you missing from the okay, first of all, you didn't introduce Marty properly because he is the CGC register set holder heavyweight champion for Captain Canuck.
My apologies.
No,
yes.
Let's not get
he's got the belt and everything.
Let's not get out of hand. I mean, it's not like I have got like certificates on my wall all the way back from 2015.
Yeah.
Or is it 2016?
And it's not like you have a lead of several hundred points over this next person in line to try to usurp the throne.
Do your wonderful readers know what the CGC registry is?
We briefly touched on it, but no, we've never actually talked in depth about it.
Maybe like in episode 1, we talked about it for 30 seconds and then never again.
Oh, episode 1, we just blazed through what all those companies were.
So you guys know that CGC is a grading company, and you send your comic books in to get slabbed in carbonite, and one of the neat things that they do is they have a database called the registry, where you can claim your serial number and say, hey, I've got this issue. And then you can create competitive sets and kind of compete with other people as far as who's got the best set, who's got this, who's got that. So there's a couple of Captain Canuck sets because, whoever started this didn't really understand Captain Canuck publishing or how it worked. Dan and I kind of did a little bit of work there in about 2017, 2016 to get it kind of fixed so that there was a better understanding. So there is a Captain Canuck complete set, which is everything. I've owned that title since 2016 for having the most complete set. Dan's number 2. My score is 503. Dan's is 168. So he can catch up.
I'm close.
Oh my God.
I'm 60% complete that set and 21%, and Dan's 21%. But like I said, that's sort of an amalgam of absolutely everything Captain Canuck, because Americans don't understand Captain Canuck, and it just kind of got thrown in there.
Yeah.
Then we managed to get the sets split up into Captain Canuck 1974, which is the original series. I have 93% of that because I foolishly informed them of Captain Canuck number 15. And they put that on the list, and nobody's got 15.
No.
Nobody's got that graded. There's 0 number 15s. But yeah, that's Captain Canuck 1 through 15 plus the summer special. And in that set, I've got Canuck number 1, 9.8, 2, 9.8, 3, 9.6, 4, 9.8, 9.8, 9.6, 9.8, 9.8, 9.8, 9.8, 9.4 of 11, 9 of 12, 9.8 of 13, 9.8 of 14, and 9.2 of the summer special. So I got a little ways to go to get a full set of 9.8s.
It's still very impressive.
Yeah.
Anything over a 9 is okay on my books.
Well, the fun thing is like they only give you 4 points for Captain Canuck 9, Captain Canuck 9.0, and there is like almost no Captain Canuck 12s graded except for they've got some signature series and stuff like this here or there, and then there's the Captain Canuck Reborn set, of which I have 50% complete. And in that set,
You have 1 and 3.
I have 0 and 3. I don't have 1 and 2.
No, I was going to say CGC said there were no zeros, but it's under the wrong name.
Yeah, it's under Captain Canuck Prelude number 0, but we did manage to get them to fix it and add it to the Captain Canuck Reborn set.
Oh, okay, it's just not listed on there for the individual issue.
Yeah, so if you look up Captain Canuck Prelude number 0 in the census, you'll find it. If you look up Captain Canuck Reborn 1, 2, and 3, you'll find them. But if you look under the registry for Captain Canuck Reborn set, it lists 0, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, sorry. Which ones did you have again of the 4?
I have 0 and 3.
Okay.
I haven't graded my copy, any copies of my number 1. I haven't graded any copies of number 2. And I have at least, I have 4 really nice number 2s that I was going to send in for pre-grading. And then, gosh, who doesn't have a Captain Canuck Reborn number 1? There's a billion of them out there.
Nobody's graded issue number 2 yet, so yours would be the first and only.
Is that right? Nobody's graded number 2?
According to the census, it was just number 1 and 3.
Huh.
And then 0 by itself on a different spot. Yeah.
I find that interesting. I do have a CBCS Captain Canuck Reborn number 2 that's been graded for signature verification because it's signed by everybody on the cover. So I do own that, but that's CBCS, right? That's not in this registry.
Do you own the and forgive me, Dan, because I forget what issue it is, but do you own the CGC slab of the one that says Collins on it as one of the creators?
Free Comic Book Day issue 2019.
There we go.
Oh, I'm not sure. Do I?
I don't think so. I've never seen it up for sale. There's 3 that have my name as part of the writing credits.
And which one is that?
It's the Free Comic Book Day special 2019.
That's not in the Captain Canuck 2015 plus summer special set.
It's not. No, it's just off random on its own because yeah.
No, I don't have that many of the modern books graded. What do I have? I think I have the Canada Day edition summer special. So that'll be the 2014 summer special, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have that in 9.8, and then I have Captain Canuck number 1 variant H in 9.4, whichever the heck number that is. I don't remember.
What's
who's
that?
On the cover of that one?
No.
I'd have to look, and unfortunately, all my Canuck books, pretty much, except for a couple, are in my storage locker. So
that's blasphemy. You gotta hug them every night, tuck them into bed.
I imagine your room having a Game of Thrones throne made out of Captain Canuck slabs and other issues and trays and omnibus.
Yeah. So it's the David Finch Silver Snail variant cover from May 2015.
Oh, that makes sense then, because I think we were talking about how 2 of them are SS, right, Dan?
For which one? I think we're talking about 2 different issues now, Adam.
I
think
you're Canuck confused.
Oh,
you're still thinking about the summer special?
The one that Dan's name was on, yes.
Yeah, that one. That one's listed under Free Comic Book Day in the database for.
Okay, ignore me.
For
always do.
I get confused easily.
That's sorry, which one, Dan? 2019?
Yeah. Free Comic Book Day 2019.
Equilibrium Shift.
Yes, might be. This is the one that had the Secret Wars homage cover.
I don't see your name on the cover. It says W.T. Morris, Tosef, Yatsik, and Thomas.
Oh, for the slab notes.
Oh, on the slab notes.
Yeah, the slab notes.
Yeah, so I don't have that in CGC now.
So you are one of the few people that has had firsthand experience with trying to get the Captain Canuck number 1 1975 CGC 10.0. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so basically, I know the fellow who graded it, and it's a fellow named Reynold, and I'm going to mispronounce the last name so badly, and it's I'm not going to say it. It doesn't sound like Auschwitz, but yeah. It's a German sounding name that starts with an A and ends with a Z, but I can't. I'm going to mispronounce it, so I'm not going to try. And he's kind of, there's 2 guys. There's Reynold in the States, and then there's Doug Salupa. I always mispronounce his last name too. Dan's going to jump in here and pronounce Doug's last name properly.
No, I'm not.
Shilpa. Anyways,
I'm not sure.
They were kind of interested in the Captain Canuck in the very beginning, and helped in distributing, and had they had boxes and boxes and boxes. Reinhold still gives me a text message every once in a while and says, "Hey, dude, I found a new box. What are you missing?" And I'm like, "Well, I need 9.8 of this, this, and this. I'm going to send them off. We'll see how it goes." "Oh, it only came back in 9.4. I'm like, "Well, I had a 9.0, so I'll take it." And he graded a 10.0 Captain Canuck, and it's on the CGC original label. So I can't remember exactly when he graded it, but I'm thinking around 2005. So he had it for sale everywhere, eBay, comic book forums and stuff like this. And he was asking $5,000 for it at the time.
Oh.
And I thought that was, a little bit more than I was willing to pay at the time. I thought it was kind of cool, but CGC didn't have the caveat that it did now. It's not, it was kind of fairly new, and not a lot of people were too excited about that. So through the years, I think at most I offered him $3,000 for it, Canadian. And it didn't, he didn't bite for that. And ultimately he did end up selling it. And he did end up selling it for $3,000, but I can't remember whether that was US or Canadian. And at the time, I think for a long time, they said it was the oldest 10.0 ever graded, but some book has beat it since then.
No.
Damn it.
Yeah. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, it is no longer the oldest 10.0 in the registry.
There's a 9.9. Is that the oldest 9.9?
I have no idea.
Okay. No one cares about the 9.9.
Yeah, like
9.9 is garbage.
9.9. When there's a 10 out there, come on. Come on.
Now, I asked Dan a question, and he said he's never looked at his books. You you have a few duplicate CGC of the same issue, correct?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. Did you ever look at them and see, just look at them really hard and be like, this one's actually better condition than this one? Did you ever look?
Absolutely. It happens all the time. Because comic conventions were dead last year, I kind of spent a little bit of money on a Green Lantern #1 from DC and a Justice League of America #1. They were both 4.5s. And if you were to look at the cover, there's no way that you would say these are both the same grade. There's just no way. The Justice League of America is just beautiful compared to the Green Lantern. But that's just cover appeal. There's so many other things inside. Is there a torn page inside? Is there a water stain that's been pressed out? Is there something else within the book that you just can't see in the cover?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So yes, there's often a huge disparity between two 9.8s, or you'll be looking at a 9.8 and you're like, how come this isn't a 10? There's nothing wrong with this. Well, you can't really see the inside. You can't see, through the plastic. You can't really take a really good look at the staple area, from the side and that sort of stuff. Like, are the staples shiny? Is one of them tarnished? That's a grade off right there.
So there's a guarantee that people have sent in books where the cover is literally like it's a 10 almost, but some people probably get books and they bag them, they never open them, and then they send them away. And then it's like, oh, this is incomplete. There's a page missing. Someone's dog pissed on inside of their book when it was open.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know.
Like a pen crease, like somebody accidentally hit their comic book with a pen inside, that drops your grade. Sometimes when you press a book, you can press the cover out and press some things out of the cover. If you're not careful, you accidentally press a corner folded in half or dog-eared inside the book. So maybe page 8 is folded in half.
Oh, wow.
Things like that. So the grade is, everybody always looks at the cover because that's all you can see through the carbonite. You can flip it over, see the back, and you're just kind of like, I don't see no spine dings. This should be a 10. Meanwhile, who knows? Maybe Betty Lou, Boo Boo, and Johnny did some tic-tac-toe on the inside. It's one of those cases where you really need the grader's notes to figure it out.
Yeah, how do you get the grader's notes? That's the one thing that there's not a lot of information. I haven't looked for a lot of information.
So I submitted my first CGC books back in 2005. So I've been at it for a little while. Nowhere near as crazy as some people. I mean, like every 7 years, I grade a book or so, or Not that often do I send in a bunch of books, but what it is you get automatically the grading notes for any books that you've submitted. They're yours now. If they didn't give you the notes, you can ask them and they can look it up. And if it's in their computerized database, they just give it to you. If it's handwritten somewhere in their paper records, like they had back in 2005, they did not computerize their records in 2005. And the grading notes are actually in a piece of paper in a file folder. They charge you for that to go digging for it.
Oh, wow.
So my first set of books, it'll cost me some bucks to get all the grading notes if I ever wanted to find out why my Superman 199 my Superman 200 was graded so poorly at 5.0 when I thought for sure it was a 10.
I'm surprised they haven't taken all the old notes and digitized them and then just made it a standard fee, even for new books. To be like, it's $1 a book for us to give you the notes, just something.
I think it's just a lot of manpower and not a lot of requests.
That makes sense. Yeah.
There's not too many people saying, hey, Martin Brutus submitted a Superman 200 back in 2005 and he sold it to me and I really want the grader's notes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not really happening as much. So yeah, I mean, you can look up the grader's notes, but now the other thing that I thought was kind of weird is that if you buy the comic from someone else on eBay, you don't have any rights to the notes. So you have to pay for them to look up the notes if you were not the original person to grade the book, even if it's modern.
Oh.
So again, it's like, prove to me you have the serial number and all this stuff. And I don't know, it's just kind of weird. It's one of those things where if it's easy for them to give you the notes, they do. If they do have to do any kind of labor whatsoever, it's like, give us a few bucks. And I don't even know what the fee is. Is it like $20? Is it $5?
I thought it was $5 the last time I had looked, but that was years ago.
Yeah, it could be. I don't even remember.
$5 is reasonable.
It depends though, because if you're getting 10 books that you want to look up that you bought, that's $50.
Well, I was gonna say if it's like $5 for like the first 5, and then 6 to 10 would be like $15. If they had like a scale, that would be nice.
Why would there be a scale?
Because people are nice.
It should be a scale that goes downward.
Oh,
it should be $5 for the first 5 and then $4 for the rest or something.
So here you go. Grader's notes for your collectibles submitted from May 2012 to date are free if available. Earlier grader notes are available for a fee in the Verify CGC certification tool.
Sweet.
To purchase grader's notes. Yeah. To purchase grader's notes. Otherwise, the fee for grader's notes varies based on the tier. So if it's economy, value, or modern, it's $5. If it's standard and express, it's $10. If it's walkthrough, it's $15. So it also depends on how the book was processed in the first place. You might end up paying a little bit more.
That makes it even more confusing.
Yeah.
Because why would it matter how it was graded in the first place as far as the fee for the notes?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
turns out if it's a walkthrough, it's because they're just written on a napkin.
Yeah, gosh only knows. Like, I don't know. So I just did a CGC, Verify CGC certification. Captain Canuck, issue 1, issue date 7/75, grade 9.8, white pages. It was graded in 2015. Grade category signature, signed by Richard. Oh, this is my signed one. Oh, that's why I got 44 points for it in the registry. But
so
one thing that I'm insanely proud of is, I don't know if you ever looked at the grader's notes of Captain Canuck #1, but it says first appearance of Blue Fox.
Yes,
and that it is a flag cover. We got first appearance of Cap Canuck on the
damn
label.
Straight.
Yep. Does yours have that?
It did. Mine. I don't think mine have that. No.
I did find one on eBay that did have the first appearance of Captain Canuck on it, which
yeah.
I think, but it was only like a 9.4. I think it was mine 9.4 or 9.6.
Yeah, I'd have to pull up pictures of mine to take a look and see.
Do you have any idea, Marty, why they were so stupid and boneheaded and put first appearance of Blue Fox and not first appearance of Captain Canuck?
Yeah, because they're not Canadian Captain Canuck collectors. CGC, everybody's like CGC notes, CGC notes, CGC notes. The CGC notes are insanely fallible. They are so wrong so often. It's not crazy. It's not funny because a lot of these guys were comic book graders and they just gave it graders, gave it notes, and then someone else wrote up the label. And that someone else was like an intern, somebody helping out, somebody who doesn't have a lot of history in comics and probably knew what a Darkhawk #1 was, but had no idea this wild and crazy Captain Canuck #1. I remember our friend Tony Andrews. He and I were submitting some books at one of the comic conventions, and he was submitting a whole bunch of Canadian whites. And he was literally like, okay, I need to talk to, your Golden Age expert, and we need to sit down and go through each one of these. And he like basically said, here's the history of the book. This is why it's important. It's a reprint of this, basically creating the notes for the slab with the CGC guy there at submission time, because he probably knew more about these books than anybody in the entire CGC company did.
Do they need to, like, I assume that they have historians like on staff now, but I guess when did CGC first begin? I know we talked about it in the
By
first
historians,
episode.
you mean speculators?
Speculators.
That are like, oh, this is now the first appearance of the Red Goblin Shadow.
The thing is that they get it wrong. They get it wrong a lot. It is it was an Overstreet mistake to list Incredible Hulk 181 as the first appearance. It was done incorrectly in Overstreet. Everywhere else at that time said Hulk 180, including all official Marvel documentation. And then later on, some assistant editor in the letters pages of one of the comics obviously saw the mistake in Overstreet, and he put down, the first appearance of Hulk is 181. And all the guys who argue about it point to those two sources, Overstreet and this letters page, as official canon that it is right. But the problem is like when that Overstreet mistake happened in the first place, every other piece of documentation that you could use as like a legitimate source all said 180. So like the graders' notes are not fallow, like they're not perfect.
I was going to say they also change all the time based on characters that weren't important that suddenly become important, and now people go back and say, well, this character actually was in this book as the first appearance. Yeah,
like
it's like a revisionist history.
Like this is a perfect example. Officially, according to CGC notes, Captain Canuck #1 was not the first appearance of Captain Canuck because it's not in the note. It's not on the label, so it doesn't exist. It's not true. It's not real. And we had to tell them, yes, it is, and they just listened to a couple of us. What if we were completely lying through the seat of our pants and we convinced them to put first appearance and it isn't really? And then later on, some some labels get printed that way. And then so later on, Richard Cumley, phones them up and says, no, I'm the creator of this and I need to correct this error. And they change it. Now there's 3 labels.
Yeah.
One that didn't have it, one that has the incorrect information, now the one that has the right information.
You'd think that CGC it's big enough of a company now that they have Marvel branded, what's it called, where they have labels. Yeah, they have Marvel branded labels. Could they not actually work with the publishers to get actual like accurate notes and maybe have that available on their website, which the website isn't even a dictionary of comics other than like the census, but that's for their products. They don't have a comic like compendium.
The other thing is who do they talk to at Marvel, as an example? The guy who wrote the Marvel universe and did most of the research, he doesn't work there anymore.
No.
It was an assistant editor that, incorrectly said in the letters page, Incredible Hulk 181 is the first appearance of Wolverine. So they're just going to get some, I'm not saying this derogatory, but typically most of the editors at Marvel right now are, millennial age. They weren't around when Spider-Man #1 came out. Amazing Spider-Man #1. They were around when Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man #1 came out, but yeah. So they wouldn't have the encyclopedic knowledge basically of what's going on back there. Now I'm taking a look at this Verify CGC certification page, and it says that there are only 2 Signature Series 9.8s ever graded.
Yes, I was going to say that earlier when you said you had one. I had looked up the notes and saw that there was only 2.
So apparently there's only 2.
So you need to find the twin sister to that book.
Not really.
No? Okay.
I'm good with one.
No.
You take it and you smash it and you let CGC know there's only one now.
Yeah, I'm good
there's
with one.
2, but now it's a 4.5.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm good with one.
ask you, Marty, about another note, a Captain Canuck CGC note, which is on issue number 4. It says first appearance of Tom Evans. What do you think of that?
Well, that was probably is that again. I can't recall off the top of my head. It's been at least 2 years since I've reread the original series. Did they? Was that like the very first time that Tom Evans actually appeared as a character, without being just
like
referenced?
This is the first time that Captain Canuck isn't wearing his mask and says what his name is. But shouldn't it be like secret origin or secret identity revealed as Tom Evans or something, not first appearance of Tom Evans?
Oh yeah, I'm sure, like again, it's one of that revisionist history you guys were talking about, right? So if all of a sudden there was some kind of controversy or speculator interest in Tom Evans's first mention, Tom Evans's first fart, Tom Evans's first time ever being in a speech bubble, Tom Evans's first time in a car accident, Tom Evans's first appearance in a comic, that kind of stuff, then yeah, they would revise that and say, because like Hulk 181, it doesn't just say, first appearance. It says like first full appearance.
Boo.
Because now there's a first cameo appearance and all that kind of stuff. So it changes, right? I looked up my certification number here for my non-signature series, and it says that there's 116 9.8s graded, 2 in higher grades. So I'm assuming that's that 9.9 and that 10 you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the notes are exactly the same. And this one was graded in 2015 as well, which I found surprising.
Shit, CGC needs to get on the ball, apparently.
Yeah, 9.8 white pages.
I'm surprised. There must be like a CGC corrections group where people just like, let's find all the mistakes these motherfuckers made and send them to them.
That's just called every Facebook comic group.
Yeah, it's literally in the CGC forums. There's a subtopic, additions to comic sets, label changes, all that sort of stuff. So there's actually, like you said, dedicated chat rooms on the CGC boards for that.
I know you shared that that thread of Boba Fett where I was just reading through it and I'm like, oh, you fucking nerds.
It's pretty intense, eh?
First appearance of Boba Fett and Yoda in comic book size was my favorite comment. What's comic book size?
Yeah, like a magazine's not a comic book. Okay, all right. Unwind a little bit there, Sparky. Does that mean that Wednesday comics don't count as comics? It's just like I don't know. That's a whole nother show talking about micro keys and this speculator nonsense that's going on. That's a whole nother show.
I'm trying to remember that example that I posted. It was like, I don't know what the character's name was, but it was first appearance of Boba Fett's daughter in hologram.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, holy shit. Like that's stretching, like more than anything.
Well, the thing is that, if enough collectors, if enough people that are paying CGC money say, hey, we would like this included, it gets included. If, there's enough squeaky wheels out there, they'll make the change.
Somebody else gets greased.
They'll make the change. And if all of a sudden there's in the marketplace, somebody cares about the very first time Tom Evans drinks a Coca-Cola, then they'll put it in.
I don't know which issue that one is.
Oh no, it wasn't a Coca-Cola. He was at a donut shop.
Was it a Jolt? I hope it was Jolt.
There's a West Coast Canuck and
yes,
Tom Evans
issue
Canuck.
3. West Coast Canuck issue 3, Unholy War.
Are they actually sitting at a Tim Hortons or is it just a donut shop?
No, just a donut shop. And then he folds the chair up to show that he's super strong.
Yeah. So there should be, first time Tom Evans eats a donut.
First time Tom Evans travels to our world.
So yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Now I'm just looking here. I don't know. There's one Captain Canuck Registry Award that I haven't won.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Maybe I should just throw some dollars at this problem.
No.
Yeah, I think Dan's got the registry award for the modern Captain Canuck.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I try
to not mention it ever.
So his score is 105, mine's 45. He's got 10% of the collection complete. I have 7%.
I think I have 3 slabs that fall into that category.
Yeah.
I have more, but like one of them's a free comic book day one. That was the year 0 or whatever storyline. And so that one just is in limbo as far as, doesn't fall into any of the official sets. So
yeah, so you got 3 books. All 3 are 9.8s in that set. I have 2 books, a 9.8 and a 9.4. My 9.4 is punishing me that badly.
Well, and all of mine are also signed ones as well.
Yeah, 32 points versus 13 points. And you've got 35. Oh, really? So a signature series gives you 35 points and a regular gives you 32 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
that's why
points
I go for the signatures.
Those points are wrong. So really, I only have to buy 2 slabs? Huh.